Have you ever promised yourself that you're going to do a full day's work? No distractions, no TikTok, no YouTube, and no extended 2 hour lunch? Well, I've done the same, and if you've run into the same problem as me, then you know this doesn't really happen. What actually happens is that you start good, maybe 20, 30 minutes in, and then your phone dings and you reply to a text message, and then suddenly you're on TikTok, and then you look up and an hour's passed. But by that time, you'll get back to lunch, and after lunch, you say that you're going to start back into it, and you don't. You then end up beating yourself up, and well, to be honest with you, the day is kind of wasted already, so you might as well just give yourself a rest day and leave it at that, and we'll start fresh tomorrow, and then we repeat the cycle. Well, I was sick of this happening to me, and I decided that I wanted to find out a way to get the most efficiency out of my time while at the same time acknowledging that I probably have ADHD and that I needed to figure out a way to maximize my time while also taking into consideration how easily I am distracted. So, when ventured, I looked and I found the Pomodoro technique. If you don't know this technique, then this technique will revolutionize your study time. And the fact is that if when you're doing this, you will find your efficiency is through the roof. Welcome, and let me explain the Pomodoro technique, and I hope that this is as good for you as it was for me. The Pomodoro technique was something that I had previously heard of but didn't really know what it meant. To be honest with you, I don't really know what Pomodoro means, and upon explanation it was just basically tomato in Italian. So what is the Pomodoro technique? Well, the Pomodoro technique is a system in which you time block your time into shorter segments, whether this can be anywhere between 25 minutes to 45 minutes apparently, but I find that you can use this in any type of way. And from there, what you do is you do basically your time block, and then you take a short break, maybe 5-10 minutes, walk about, just get yourself a coffee, and then you go back to the next time block. You do this to around 3 or 4 times, and then after that, what you do is you take a longer break, usually 35 to 45 minutes. You can get some food. Usually that's what I was doing. And so why was this invented? Well, it was found that by time blocking, basically giving a short segmented time to a certain objective, it forced the user to prioritize that task because they only had a short amount of time to do it. And I don't know if this was how it was originally designed, but it was the way that I used it, where I set one whole task. So say I had to edit a video, then I only had the 25 minutes that I had set to do that video. If I went over, I wasn't allowed. I had to start again tomorrow. So what it created was this sense of urgency in which I had to get as much done in that 25 minutes as humanly possible. And to be honest with you, it was very, very successful. I'd read about this concept within the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, where by just giving yourself no option but to get it done, and if you don't, then that goes on to tomorrow's task. You don't really want to create that burden for yourself. So it actually created, well, for my ADHD brain, quite a sense of urgency. And to be honest with you, I got loads done because of it. Now, what I'm going to chat through in this video is just basically the success that I had, while at the same time talking about the downfalls. Most of all, what I want to do is to give an overall education surrounding how I used it and allow you the chance to use this to increase your efficiency. Because I found that whether your brain's like mine or not, when you have no option but to get that done within a certain time scale, it actually creates a real need to get it done, but it also makes it quite enjoyable because you're almost having to get into that focus. I have to do this quite quickly. And I really enjoyed that. It made it quite game-like, it made it quite fun. And yeah, so I really hope that this can be the next thing for you to implement into your study routine, whether this is your work routine or whether this is your side hustle. So let's jump into it and let's talk about the success that I had.
If you don't know already, alongside this, I am finishing my degree in social work. I am starting a business, and all while maintaining a normal job and relationships in life. And while I know this is the normal attributes of life, it goes without saying how hard this is and how hard it is for some of you. I want to help you with this, and I want to give you the chance to gain insight and gain skills that are going to help you to build the most successful life that you want alongside me. Now, I'm offering this in the form of my coaching, and at the minute it's ridiculously cheap. And I know it's not going to always be this way, and that's why I want you to grab this opportunity while you can, to work alongside me and to help you to build the life that you want. Click down below and you'll see links to my socials where you can then click into my coaching. And if the coaching isn't there for you, well, just for you, I'm offering 30 days of how to become your best self.
So I had a great time with this, and I had done this for 7 days. I wanted to experiment, and you'll be seeing in videos ahead that I will be experimenting with loads of different time blocking and efficiency tools to help bring to you new ways that we can efficiently in our lives to get the most done with this small amount of time that we had. Because I realized that unlike all these creators out there who are able to do this as a full-time job, if you're like me, then you're balancing uni on top of this, you're balancing work on top of this, you're trying to be, a spouse in a relationship. So really getting the most bang for your buck is the most important thing. So this was great. I done it for 7 days, and to be honest with you, at the start it was tough because I was finding that 25 minutes, 30 minutes wasn't really getting me into that hyper focus that I needed to get stuff done. I was kind of like dabbling with getting stuff done, getting into it, and then the timer would go off and I'm like, well, I was just getting into it there. And actually that was quite frustrating. And then at the same time I was reading this book, of course, as I mentioned, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he had said, I forget which chapter it was, but it was about creating this sense of urgency, making sure that you had to prioritize the task. Like there was no lollygagging about, but rather this top priority. Okay, if you have a task, what needs to be done now? And it kind of cuts away all the other things that don't need done or things that you may need done. Because even, let's talk about editing and talk about videos. Sometimes you just have to get the reps in, and we can lie to ourselves about being this perfectionist and this needs done, or it needs a bit of color grading, or that's not quite right. But at the end of the day, if you want to get stuff done, you just have to put in the reps and the perfection will come with it. And that really helped me to just be like, okay, actually let's just get in the reps. If someone was going to the gym, I wouldn't be telling them they have to get every single rep perfect. As much as we would uphold form, at the end of the day it's about getting the reps, and it's actually about showing up and getting it done. So I tried to bring this concept into this, and what I found was I set 8 tasks out, and them 8 tasks consisted of everything I need to do in the day. So uni stuff, Bible study, editing, business work, business learning, investing learning, but it was basically about 7 or 8 tasks I had in the day. And what I done is I limited that to 25 minutes a piece. Now, I had 25 minutes on one of them tasks, and that was it. I was not allowed to touch that task afterwards. So when I found that I was jumping into this, I was super focused. So like, say if I was doing a bit of editing, it meant that I had to concentrate fully, but it allowed me the time to think about, okay, how can I make this more efficient? Where can I make this 1% better? And it made it really, really enjoyable. Now, I don't know what that looks like for in your life, whether that's studying, whether that's making sure that everything is clean so that when you do study, there's no distractions, whether that's a do not disturb, whatever it looks like. But it was phenomenal. And I found that after maybe the first 2 days of really struggling with it and implementing kind of the urgency, it created this environment that I got loads done. And what I tried to do was, I would do like maybe start of the day just before uni or just before work, get that done. I would get 4 tasks done, and then I would go to lectures. And from there, I was able to then take a break, take lunch, and come back to it and get it done. But when you added up 8 into 25-minute tasks, I was actually probably only working 4 hours a day. And you may be thinking like, oh, I need to work longer than that. But let's not kid ourselves here. We're so good at justifying to ourselves that we need to do an 8-hour workday because that's what everyone else is putting in. But the fact is, are they? It takes the 1%, but we need to get 1% better each day and each week and each year to get to that point, So let's not kid ourselves and kind of try to jump ahead when we just need to get 4 hours done first. So that really created an opportunity for me to be able to say I completed the 4 days, and I'm like, wow. And I would reward myself. I'd be able to spend time with my partner. I'd be able to watch a movie, and it actually felt guilt-free because I'm terrible. I say I'm probably terrible to spend time with sometimes because I'm constantly thinking about what I need to be doing, which means that when I'm with people, I'm not that present. And whether you feel like that or not, giving yourself the chance to turn off and completely turn off your brain because you've done your day's work was a phenomenal feeling. And to be honest with you, don't get me wrong, sometimes you're going over it by like a minute, but you're not taking the piss with it, and it was quite easy to cut myself off and be like, right, that's done. And to be honest with you, after the 4 hours work, if I wanted to go back and look over something, that's grand. I've done everything I need to do. I can go back and look at that, and if I wanted to work in it a bit longer, I could, but I wasn't under pressure to, and I didn't have to feel guilty that I wasn't working. And that was the best thing for me. Creating that reward system that allowed me to feel justified in taking a rest was a really, really nice thing. So what were the downfalls of this effect, or this tool, I should say? Well, I realize that not everyone does it like me. Like, not everyone's gonna have 8 different things to do in a day. Some of you will just be studying for exams. Some of you will just be working on your side hustle alongside work. But whatever you do, you can split it into smaller objectives and go from there. And I realize that there may be a bit of resistance there, where if you're looking at an exam, there's only so many things you can split an exam into or revision into. There's only many things that you can split a side hustle into. So this is where I wanted to say that this offered phenomenal flexibility in making it work for you. And unlike me, you don't have to do this for 7 days. You can do this for longer than 7 days. You can tweak it how, if you work better under 45 minutes with a longer break, that's fine. If you work even shorter than I do, with a shorter break, then that works. And be flexible with yourself. Don't feel like you have to do it a certain way. This isn't a prescriptive method. This is a flexible method. And I feel any good tool, and one of the things I'm going to be doing to try to review the tools, is the flexibility that it has. I think anything that is worthwhile doing and is worthwhile picking up isn't a tool that can only be used for a specific method, but the flexibility and the adaptability of that. Any good workout. My downfalls aren't a lot from it, to be honest with you. I think the most daunting thing that you will do is say that you're going to do 45 minutes for 8 hours. That you're going to do this for a full work day and not find yourself slipping back into the procrastination and into the kind of suboptimal behaviors, such as sitting on TikTok and stuff like that. So what I would say is be easy on yourself. This is very much a great tool to allow you to explore your awareness and to explore, okay, where am I getting distracted? What leads to it? Where do I feel under pressure? And I think actually maybe just even to backtrack on myself would be the best thing was that if I start getting overwhelmed by a task, it usually was within the last 5 minutes. So what I would say is make sure that you put it just below or just above where you start getting stressed out, because at the end of the day we don't want to be getting ourselves stressed out by what you're doing, because that's when you start to detest the exact thing you're doing. So many people fall out with uni and fall out with studying simply because they make it as unenjoyable as possible. If we look at James Clear Atomic Habits, it's actually creating the reward system to be able to allow ourselves to enjoy what we're doing. Overall, I think this is a great method, and I think that exploring this yourself will be great. There's going to be many, many more productivity hacks, and I'm going to kind of be experimenting with them all. So if this doesn't work for you, don't worry. What I would say is try it out, be experimental, and a big thing I say to everyone that I meet and everyone that I'm friends with is be curious. There's no right way of doing life. And if anyone tells you there's a right way of doing life, well, they're wrong. Simply because we are each our own human, and we are each our own person, and we each come from backgrounds completely unique and with a completely unique upbringing. And yeah, I really hope this benefits you. Let me know how it goes, and let me know if this works for you. If it doesn't, I want to know everything about it, because at the end of the day I want to build a community where we are curious, not to figure out how to do life successfully, but to do life in a way that makes us happy every single day. Becoming our best self isn't easy, but we will either find a way or we will make one. So I hope you tune in more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.